Hey, welcome to PNW Enduro. Today I'm going to do a short video. This will be a 50-hour review on the 2024 Husqvarna TE300 Pro. I figured 50 hours was a pretty good time to give you guys an update on what I think of the bike and what is good, what is bad about it. Just to start off, really, I'm going to say this is my favorite dirt bike I've ever owned so far. I really like this bike. It suits me well. I like the new chassis. The TBI motor is great, and the suspension is also working really well for me. As far as damage on the bike, I had to replace the stock chain guide because they are pretty crappy. This is a TM Designs one, which is a lot better. You can see the stock one here, bend right there, how it's plastic and metal in there. It bends pretty easy. I think this only lasted a few rides before I had to replace it. Front rotor guard, not so sure about these type of guards, but it's held up okay. You can see missing a piece up here. I actually just had a crack right here, and I decided just to pull off this whole part just so it wasn't flopping around. Basically, you need the bottom protection anyways, so it's not really a big deal. So I'm pretty happy with this guard. I don't think I need the super heavy aluminum ones. So suspension is a really big selling factor on the new KTM and Husky bikes. So the new Exact fork is really good in the slow stuff. In the fast stuff, it is also quite good, but I think it's got a little bit of a harshness in the mid-stroke. I think I might revalve them eventually, but overall I'm pretty happy with these forks. I still haven't really even played with the clickers because it just feels good where it is. The shock, same thing, adjust the sag. I haven't done any further adjustments than that, and the shock feels great overall. You can see the pipe here. It's got a few dings in it. I had a silly tip over in a rock garden one of the last few rides and did this one. Got a little one there, little one underneath, so I'm going to be getting that blown out pretty soon, but it's held up all right. Same as the rear rotor guard. You can see it's had some use, and yeah, it's really good. This is a JX8 tire. This is my second tire. It's only got 5 or 6 rides, but it's had a tough life, I'll just say that. And then this is also second tire on the front. This is the IRC VX30. It's my favorite front tire, particularly because I just like the way it performs, and it is significantly less money than comparable tires in the Bridgestone and other brands. So I pretty much run that on the front these days. You may remember I was a little bit concerned about the stock skid plate, so I'll see how that's holding up. So pretty good. I mean, stock skid plate, I like the way it mounts to the frame. The tail is already on there. You can buy this separately, by the way, if you have a regular model that doesn't have the tail. It's just a piece that bolts on there, so you can keep this and buy this for about $45. Just keep that in mind rather than having to spend $200+ on a whole new skid plate to protect your linkage. Astra off-road bars. I run these on this bike. I didn't even run the stock ones at all. I just run Astra whenever I can. So I haven't had to replace any parts on this other than the tires. Really, there's nothing else. Brake pads are still good. I still kept the stock tugger strap just because it works well. I like the elastic action there. And on the back I've got the trail bound one. It just really comes in handy in certain situations. Another thing I replaced, after a few rides, I replaced the stock dual start stop button. I didn't care for it. The start worked okay. You had to press it a lot harder than these ones, but the stop, it took several seconds and pressing really hard to actually get it to activate. And I just like having them on separate sides of the bike too. It's a little bit pricey, about $120 US, but it is a plug and play item, so it's a good upgrade for me. One thing I noticed on this bike compared to the TPI I owned, I had a 2020 KTM 250 XC TPI. The oil injection, I'm having to fill this way more often than the TPI bike. I think I would get 6 to 7 rides on the TPI, and on this bike it is probably 4 rides maximum. Now, I've done some pretty long rides being summer, so that is a bit of a factor, but it definitely uses more oil, more premix than the previous generation TPI bikes. Not that that's a bad thing. Spooge on the pipe is, you can see there's a bit, some rides it has a bit, some rides nothing. It's minimal though. A little more comfortable with a bit of spooge than absolutely bone dry, so I'm okay with that. Probably the only real thing I'm not satisfied is the fuel economy, and that's more the tank size. 8.5 liters. KTM bikes say 9. I don't know which is accurate. I think they're probably the same. But the range on this is about 60 miles or just under 100 kilometers. So a lot of the times I'm bringing extra fuel. I pack 1 to 2 of these fuel containers. They call them 1 liter, but it's actually 890 mils. So generally one of these is fine, but really big days I will take 2. One will get strapped onto the fender with my trail bound straps, and the other one is on the side of my pack. So these are kind of a must these days for the TBI bikes, in my opinion. So other than that, like I said, really happy with this bike overall. I will be keeping this one for a while. Holy cow.